Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report Top 10. This is our annual countdown of the biggest events, projects, and activities that happened the prior year here in the city of Oshkosh. I'm, of course, John Urban. This is, of course, City Manager Mark Rohloff. Mark, tell us why you like this particular Top 10 program so much as it relates to City Manager's Report.
This is a fun opportunity for us to talk about some of the great accomplishments in Oshkosh, not necessarily with the city per se, but certainly something that maybe we had a hand in being part of. And it's showing off a little bit of community pride, but also showing that we're moving forward on a lot of initiatives that we've been talking about, whether it's our strategic plan or just general community goals that we all want to achieve. So it's just such a fun event, and looking forward to talking about our top 10 for 2019.
And we should say, a lot of time and effort does go into looking at these various, we've had a lot going on here in the last year. So a lot of time and effort does go into looking at this list, compiling it, and really taking the time to really kind of look at them from all the different priorities.
And we also want to take a look at the different departments because, there's a lot of big things when you think of economic development and infrastructure and things like that. But there are also some things that give us a lot of community pride, and those are things we want to celebrate as well, so that people recognize there's so much to our communities that enriches our community, and we want to brag about it a little bit.
Right. All right. Well, let's start things off with number 10, and number 10 are two additions to what we call our quality of life at the library and the museum.
We're real pleased with the Menominee Clan exhibit at the Oshkosh Public Museum, and this is just, it kind of looks like a little Hollywood set where they're setting things up, but the Menominee Nation has loaned these to us, these figurines that have been historically accurate, verified, and tell the story of the Menominees and their history and their culture, and they've basically entrusted this to the city to have at the public library. So for an indefinite term, for an indefinite term. And so we're so pleased and proud of this. So our museum staff put the backgrounds there and put that all in place so that the museum figurines can really tell the story of the Menominees as it should be shown.
And we were told by some of our crew here that went and shot this video that the figurines are just amazing, and they were created out of one piece of wood. Each piece itself was one piece of wood on each one, so just impressive.
And then similarly over at the library, Explorers Grove, it opened up in January 2019. As we were looking at these videos, I couldn't help but say, this is not your father's library. This is an interactive location where children can have a little fun, and then in the process, get books and other library materials that relate to the story being told. So whether it's learning about farming and where food comes from, and then reading about it, but really helping the children be more curious about their life around them and learn about self-expression and discovery, which is really the big part of it. And this memorial donation that made this all happen was in honor of librarian Nancy Jakish, who served the library for a number of years in the children's section. So we're real pleased to be proud of that.
All right, number 9 on our top 10 list, the food co-op coming to Marion Road redevelopment.
This was a great announcement that was done this fall. It was very cold conditions. I was out there for it, but it's at the southwest corner of Jackson and Pearl, right over there in the Marion Road area. And there are some renderings. This is actually going to be a 4-story building at which the food co-op will be on the main level, and then apartments will be above it. So the whole idea is a food co-op is basically a grocery store. It offers products just like a grocery store, but it's owned by the people who are members and purchase shares. And full disclosure, I'm a proud member of the food co-op. I think it's a great idea. Members and non-members can shop at the co-op. This isn't just a members only thing. Because the co-op's owned by the people who share your interests and values, they can arrange to have locally sourced food and emphasize natural and organic food and meet the needs of what the customers ask them for. And so we're really excited that the co-op is on their fundraising effort and having the location identified in an area that's commonly known as a food desert, which means that a grocery store of substance is not within reasonable walking distance. So we're going to have this in the downtown. It'll serve the university community, downtown professionals, and of course all the residential areas that exist and are getting built in the downtown area.
And as you said, they're in the middle of their capital campaign, so I'm sure if you'd like to get involved with that, you can go on the website and donate to that and be a member of the Oshkosh Food Co-op. All right, number 8 on our top 10 list is the EAA celebrates its 50th anniversary here in the community.
We are so pleased and proud to have Experimental Aircraft Association and their annual fly-in have 50 years here in Oshkosh. They celebrated. The name Oshkosh is synonymous with AirVenture, and they've just added so much over the years to the event, but they bring people from throughout the world, and they're so, it's like a journey that anybody in aviation, they want to have an opportunity to come to Oshkosh, and we do a really good job at rolling out the red carpet, being a great host, whether it's the restaurants and taverns that open up for night activity, or the hotels and the many residents who open up their homes to make this available, because they have 700,000 attendees, about 100,000 people, period, that need a place to stay, and we roll out the red carpet. And this is the premier event for aviation, and we're so happy to have it located right here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
All right, so that's number 8 on our list. Number 7 on our top 10 list is the completion of 2 major street projects here in the community.
Well, we had a big year of infrastructure again. The first one that we want to talk about is Oregon Street. This is right near Oregon and 20th. This was closed for quite a while. Happy for everybody who was able to be patient throughout the whole process. This project in Oregon Street is actually the second year of a 5-year project. Our goal is to get our sanitary sewer upsized to get it to the south end of town to serve really some underserved areas that we need this extra sewer capacity for growth. Of course, the road wasn't in the greatest condition, but it was primarily for getting the sewers done. So this took it a little bit past 20th. And in subsequent years, you're going to see Oregon Street redone eventually to go all the way down past the Aviation Business Park. And that'll allow additional growth for residential. We have some apartment buildings that have been built down at the south end of town, and they can't really grow much more because the capacity is not there. So over a period of 5 years, we'll have enough sewer capacity that we'll be able to start allowing some growth in that area. So there's economic development benefit for it, but also Oregon Street needed some love, and we've given it that love. And then meanwhile, another great street, Hazel Street, right in front of Menominee Park, has also undergone a big renovation. There were a lot of utilities that date back to literally the 1800s that we had to replace over there. And the street was in pretty rough shape as well. So all these photos we're showing you now, the footage, that's all gone. It's all back to normal. And one of the other wonderful things as you look on the left side here, the east side of Hazel Street now has a trail connection that now we have a great loop right within Menominee Park to essentially allow walkers and bicyclists and people who want to enjoy the scenery around Lake Winnebago. They can do it right there and take a great tour through our flagship park.
So Mark, as it relates to these street projects, when you complete 2 major street projects like the ones you just discussed, what's the response been from the community, and then how does that help moving forward with other street projects? Because they do, when they're being done, I'm sure it's not always sunshine and rainbows.
It is a complete inconvenience, so I always have to thank everybody for their patience. But once it's done, the feedback we get is always so very good. And the other hard part of it is that people say, so when are you doing either my street or this other street, because they traverse it on a daily basis, or it's just on the way to something, whether it's school or work or shopping. So it points out that we have a lot of roads to do, and that's okay. We know that. We know that this will be a never-ending battle that we're going to be going with to get our infrastructure done, but it does help instill some confidence that we're getting work done. I know for a lot of years there was a belief that we weren't getting road projects done. We were, but we need to tell the story, and we need to get it throughout the community, because we've got a lot of different roads. And when we do it, we have to add the utilities to make sure that people are not just getting a road, but getting new infrastructure, so that years from now we're not digging it up again. And that's so important.
All right, we are talking about our top 10 list for 2019. We're now up to number 6. And number 6, Mark, is the dedication of the Rainbow Memorial Park ball field project. And this is something that's been going on behind the scenes for many years.
And it all started with a young woman here in town named Sydney Supley, proud that she was the Gatorade Player of the Year for Wisconsin. And the first time she won the award, she decided that she had an idea that she wanted to see more softball diamonds, because she knew as a kid how tough it was to get access to the softball diamonds. And she started and dedicated the funds that she received and started a fund at the Community Foundation and worked with our Parks Director, Ray Maurer, and started a fundraising effort that resulted in a brand new field being built at Rainbow Memorial Park. It hasn't been dedicated yet because it didn't get done until after Sid started her freshman year at Northwestern. So you can see just a quick footage on how we transformed a portion of Rainbow Memorial Park into a softball diamond that we're all going to be proud of. And we're planning to do the dedication, I believe, come springtime, but to really make it in use. But we're so happy that Sid was able to get other people in the community excited to make this donation possible.
And why are these kinds of projects so important, not only for the kids that play on the fields, but as a carryover to the economic side when you have these kinds of facilities and you can host various tournaments and so forth?
The availability of ball diamonds enables us to host tournaments. A lot of cases, our softball and baseball groups weren't able to host tournaments because we just didn't have sufficient facilities. This will add to our inventory of quality softball diamonds that we'll be able to host events in the future. And it also encourages kids to get involved in these sports and stay active, and that's also has a great benefit for the community.
All right, very cool. Number 5 on our top 10 of 2019.
We're turning the corner.
We are coming around the bend. Number 5 is the continued expansion of citizen engagement tools. I mean, we've got a lot of tools. We've been using many, and now we've got some new ones and some refreshed ones.
The use of technology to better engage citizens through all sorts of different, whether it's tablets or mobile devices or your home computer, but these new apps enable the public to just say, hey, we have some concerns, we want you to be aware of them. So we've added multiple apps, and we've also upgraded a few over the course of the year. And it's just, this is now, people are coming to expect these types of things. So the first one is Go Transit. They've upgraded their apps. There's real-time mappings and tracking and route information that's available. And these are all available at the App Store. Just turn on your phone and you can get this app, or through your tablets as well. But that information gives us real-time abilities to, is the bus going to be here soon? Well, as a matter of fact, there it is right there. In the police department, this is a brand new one. It's called Relay, and this enables you to report non-emergency type of events to the police department. We certainly don't want people to call 911 for something, but if they have a concern about a barking dog or something like that, they can contact the police department that way. And if they're not in the midst of an emergency, they might be able to check it out pretty quickly, but it gives them that ability to do it. And then the library, through our partnership with the Winnifox Library System, they have an app that enables you to browse the entire system catalog, not just our library here in Oshkosh, but any member of the Winnefox system. And you can do an easy checkout of something and then just run down to the library and pick it up, and no wait, no fuss. It's really easy.
Amazing.
And then a couple that have been around for a couple of years now, the Connect Oshkosh app, which similar to the Relay, it allows you to just report something, whether it's a burnt out street light or a pothole or a code enforcement issue. You can let us know, and then we can follow up with you and say, we've got it taken care of, we've assigned it to somebody to get taken care of. And then lastly, but not least, is the Palco app, which is citizen engagement and survey tool. And we've had this for a couple years, but 2019 represented the first year we actually were able to do our entire citizen survey that we do annually through UW Oshkosh right there through Palco. So everybody can participate. We have over 1,000 subscribers, which from what we're told with all of our citizen engagement folks, that is something that's a good number. So much so that we received an award for excellence in online community engagement. It's called Voice of the People Awards. It was awarded to Oshkosh at the International City Management Association Conference in Nashville this past year, and so we're excited to be part of that.
And these aren't going to go away. We're only going to see more and more of these in the future, correct?
Oh gosh, I see this continuing to grow. People see the advantage of how these apps can improve service to the public and get this public better engaged so that they give us feedback on how we're doing and how we can do better. I see this continuing into the future.
All right, we're now up to number 4 on the top 10 list for 2019 of highlights here in the Oshkosh community. And number 4 is the replacement of the little Oshkosh playground with the Oshkosh Community Playground.
We're so proud of Menominee Park and what it represents. And I know there was a little bit of angst when the Little Oshkosh project, that was a wonderful community project back in the 90s, it sort of reached the end of its useful life. But not to worry. Community gave great feedback through a lot of the apps we just talked about. A little survey at the Tuesday night at the Leech, and just other public meetings. And this is what Menominee Park Playground, Community Playground now looks like. Fresh, right there by the water, with a rubberized surface, which is very easy on knees, let me tell you. And it can encourage families and people with special needs to come down there and use it. Very inclusive. We're so excited about this, and it represents a great community partnership. We did have some donations from members of the community to help make this happen, but also the council saw the need for this to basically make the playground safer for children.
And I understand part of what they want to do is also recognize the Little Oshkosh itself in the new playground. There's a tribute to some of the former Little Oshkosh.
Yeah, a lot of the nameplates and everything for people who donated to Little Oshkosh. The bricks are still there, and there's some of the entranceway is still there. So there are still relics of history that we can look back on and be very proud of as we move forward.
And they're going to have a dedication this coming spring.
Yep, we got done a little bit late before we could have the kids really enjoy it, but I'm sure once the weather gets better, kids will be dedicating it long before we cut an official ribbon.
All right, we're now up to number 3 on our top 10 list from 2019. And Mark, number 3 is the fact that the community hosts a new tradition of the 4th of July event. We've always had 4th of July celebration, but a little bit of a twist, a little bit of a new infusion this year.
I think the idea was to refresh 4th of July celebration, make it a little more family-oriented, and then encourage people to come downtown, enjoy the many amenities, whether it's at the Riverwalk or whatever. But some of the traditions from July 4th continue, such as our parade. Great turnout for our parade. Whether we're celebrating veterans or other community groups. So all the traditions are still there for the 4th of July with celebrating it. And then we moved on to the Leech Amphitheater, where we had music, and so many people could come there, and whether they wanted to go into the Leech and listen to the music or go outside to Riverside Park and enjoy it. But there's not much more than Americana than a big American flag with a band playing at the Leach Amphitheater on the 4th of July. So we're very pleased with that happening.
And I understand this is a product of many community groups working behind the scenes to make this happen.
Tons of volunteers, people who really wanted to ensure that we had a family-friendly event. And of course, the fireworks show that got spruced up, we got additional donations for a bigger and better 4th of July celebration, and these pictures are just incredible. And you can see the boaters still get to enjoy it. A lot of people enjoy going out on their boats to watch 4th of July, but a new vantage point. But we had people on both sides of the river put out their chairs and enjoy, or blankets and enjoy it. Whether it was over in Riverside Park or Menominee Nation Arena opened up their parking lot so people could enjoy it there. And then up and down the Riverwalk, where a lot of people, maybe they hadn't had an opportunity to enjoy what the Riverwalk had presented to the public. They got to see that. And you got a little lawn chair, you put it out there and you check out the fireworks at night. So between everything going on and all the activities at Riverside Park, it was very family-friendly oriented, and we're going to have another event there in 2020. I think we're going to try to replicate that and see if we haven't found ourselves a new 4th of July tradition that we can celebrate for the future.
And I understand Festival Foods in the city were the big the sponsors of the fireworks as usual.
Yep, it is still the Festival Foods fireworks show, and we're pleased that they're continuing to sponsor it with a new location. The fireworks are shot off at off of Pioneer Island. We'll probably get them off of Pioneer Island, depending on what happens in Pioneer Island. But I see some really family-friendly activities continuing as we move forward.
All right, very exciting. All right, we are now down to the final 2 of the top 10 list for 2019 here on the City Manager's Report. And number 2, Mark, and this is a project that the city has been working on for a couple of years now, approval of the Lakeshore Park Master Plan.
The plan was just approved by council on December 10th, so we could say it's not just in the works, it's actually done. It was a long process, which was appropriate. We involved a number of different boards and commissions, Sustainability Board, Bike and Pedestrian, of course the Parks Advisory Board and the Plan Commission, but just getting a different boards and commissions involved, and then taking it to the public. What types of things would you like to see? We used the Palco app to do some survey work, and we just took input wherever and whenever we could. Spent a good part of 2019 putting those plans together. And what we have is a project that is kind of broken in two. So you see the overhead here. Oshkosh Corporation's kind of in the middle, and then but now you see the plan as it starts to come into focus. But east of the Oshkosh Corporation and west side of Oshkosh Corporation are really 2 different parks in one. On the east side, you're going to see a little more active type of features. It's adjacent to Rainbow Memorial Park and Mary Jewell Park. So one of my personal favorites is a 4-season shelter so that people can enjoy all the outdoor activities that Mother Nature will allow them in the winter time, but being able to do it in the warmth of a shelter. And then some other features to take advantage of fishing opportunities there. That's great fishing in and along that area as you open up into Lake Butamore. And then the adjacencies to Rainbow Memorial Park, all the recreation amenities that are there, and expanding those for the future. So that's a great feature. And then as you move a little bit to the south, still on the east side, you have the connection with Mary Jewell Park, the ball diamond there. We have a shelter that's there. It's more of a 2-season type of shelter, but we also have that, and it's a great connection as you go out towards Oshkosh Avenue. So people will be able to see the park and all the features that are available to the public. It'll be a great park for the neighborhood to the east, so they'll be able to enjoy both Rainbow Memorial Park as well as Lakeshore Park. And then as you get around towards Oshkosh Avenue, still a little more green space to celebrate that. And then over to the west side where there aren't a lot of utilities out there, so the amenities are limited to really natural type. So a lot of big green space, making use of the ponds that were there from Lakeshore Golf Course, and then adding trails so people can walk around. And of course, the main feature, which you can see, is the river walk that is under construction as we speak. We knew that was kind of a no-brainer, so that'll be completed in the spring. We have a little bit of bridge work to do to connect it to the Tribal Heritage Trail that goes over Lake Buenamore on I-41, but parking over on the west side so that people can access, if they want to access the Tribal Heritage Trail, they can do that, or if they just want to start their walk around Lakeshore Park, they can start it there. Eventually, we'll have trails and that over there. A mixture of a lot of different amenities that I think we're all going to be proud of in the future.
And with all the excitement now of the plan being approved, there was a lot of interest now. And okay, let's get going now. How do we now manage that moving forward? Because it's going to take a while and it's going to take a lot of money.
It's going to take a lot of money. The estimate was 10 to 13 million. The longer it takes, the more expensive it's going to get because of inflation. But we do have $2 million in the bank that we have from the proceeds of selling a portion of Lakeshore Golf Course. So the council will be deciding what they do with the first $2 million. Obviously, we got to get the basic green stuff in there to make it a park officially, but we're going to see that through 2020. So I guess my answer is stay tuned.
Okay. All right, I'm going to quick recap all of the items leading up to the number one now, the number one of the top 10 for 2019. So if you just joined us, number 10 on our list was the quality of life editions of the Menominee Clan exhibit at the museum and Explorers Grove at the public library. Number 9 was the food co-op coming to Marion Road redevelopment. Number 8 was the EAA AirVenture 50th anniversary. Number 7 was the completion of the two major street projects, Oregon and Hazel Street. Number 6 was the dedication of the Rainbow Memorial Park Ball Field project. Number 5 was our continued expansion of the citizen engagement tools. Number 4 was the replacement of the Little Oshkosh Playground with the Oshkosh Community Playground. Number 3 was the celebration of the 4th of July event. Number 2 was the approval of the Lakeshore Park Master Plan. And number 1, Mark, the number one item on our 2019 CMR list is the Oshkosh Corporation completes their global headquarters.
Long last, it was a long journey, and we're so pleased and happy that Oshkosh Corporation, number one, selected to maintain their global headquarters here in Oshkosh. It's going to yield a lot of economic activity in the future as it grows. They picked a site over at over by Lakeshore Park, overlooking Fox River and Lake Buenamore, and it's going to help them attract talent to our area, and that's going to mean a lot for our economy. But it's going to be, as the company grows, their corporate headquarters grows, that'll be growth. That'll be good jobs, good paying jobs for our community, and trailing spouses. It's not just about the person who's hired, it's the person where they move on. So that's going to have a lot of benefit for us. I've already had comments from people who said, my gosh, you drive over Highway 41 and you see that headquarters, it really says that Oshkosh is on the move. And so it does have that confidence building that I think we were all looking for, to say this Fortune 500 company has chosen to keep their headquarters right here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and I think that says a lot about our community.
So what does this mean now for economic development, both in that immediate area, but for the community as a whole?
Well, in addition to the, I think it was $70 million annual economic benefit that the headquarters gives, it also creates an opportunity along the Oshkosh Avenue corridor. It's right at the intersection of Interstate 41 and Oshkosh Avenue, and there are a lot of activity going on there. A lot of things getting torn down or graded and getting ready, but we already have two businesses that are in the process. Casey's General Store is already opened, and Bank First is going to be opening right after the first of the year. And so already two businesses have indicated that they're committed to Oshkosh. And then other activities been going on. The council and the Plan Commission have approved some preliminary plans for development of office buildings and things like that. You're going to see a lot more activity in the coming year and in the coming years. And I'm excited about that. And the catalyst for this was all the Oshkosh Corporation choice to keep their headquarters here in Oshkosh.
Well, thank you, Mark, for this recap of the top 10 here in the city of Oshkosh for the City Manager's Report. That wraps up this edition. We want to remind you to check out Oshkosh Media live on GovTV and on our website, oshkoshmedia.org. You can listen to us on 101.9 Oshkosh FM, which is also online and on the TuneIn radio app for mobile devices. Or check out our YouTube channel for government meeting replays and past episodes of your favorite programs. So, for City Manager Mark Rohloff, I'm John Urban. Thanks for watching this edition of the City Manager's Report. Have a good night.